Hello, everybody. Once again, it's Jeffrey Daniel here, coming to you from Abuja, Nigeria. Today is December 16th, 2020. You know, I usually don't like to come this close to my previous posts, coming back to back like that, because I like to give it some room, to let it breathe. As they say in show business, less is more. Let it breathe. So I don't like to keep coming back too soon. But seeing how things are developing so rapidly and how these socio-political events are running so concurrently, I had to respond in real time in order to keep up with what's going on. But first, I would like to thank everybody who's following my posts, people who are giving me your feedback, giving me your perspective, people who are just like engaging with me. I really appreciate that, You guys, this is your show. Do what you want to do. If you want to subscribe, go ahead and do it. If you want to like, go ahead and do it. It's your thing. Do what you want to do, okay? So first, let me give my disclaimers. I do not own the rights to the air that you are breathing. So you're free to inhale and exhale at will as you please. I ain't responsible for that. I do not own the rights to happiness. So if there's anything I say that brings joy to your heart, feel free to be happy. I'm kind of responsible for that. I do not own the rights to the wall behind me. Why do we have to? We have to be so careful in today's society. All these disclaimers and all this and that. It just freaks me out when I see people doing that. I don't own the rights to this music you're playing. Like, everyone's getting so selfish and so grabby with things. So if you're playing somebody's song in the background, of course you don't own the rights to it. My God, who are you? Universal Music? What are you? Sony or something? Come on. But anyway, you guys, let's get on what we'll get on with. Now, I'm watching what's going on from here. I'm in Nigeria and I'm watching the news very intently. I'm keeping up with what's happening in America. Of course, I'm very concerned with what's going on over there to an extent. But yes, I am very concerned. And I don't know. Wow. Very unprecedented times. Very insane behavior. Very unbelievable. The rest of the world is looking back at America like, wow, what happened to America? What happened to the American government? That's what the rest of the world is thinking right now. So thank God it seems like it's about to come back on a rebound, okay? So once again, I'd like to state that I'm not a party basher, so I'm not here to bash the Republican or the Democrats. In fact, I'm not even here to bash Trump, but I will address facts and truths in this climate where supposedly facts don't matter. So, as the electoral votes have been tallied, and after some 50-odd failed court cases and numerous recounting of voter ballots that try to prove that there was massive voter fraud to no avail, Joe Biden was officially declared the next president of the United States of America. Even so, it appears that the current resident Trump still refuses to accept the outcome of the election and certifications. People, what kind of world do we live in when Russia congratulates our newly elected president before the White House? Come on, you guys. As I said before, Stephen King couldn't write a story like this. Rod Serling from The Twilight Zone, they couldn't write a story like this. We got a congratulations from Putin. The Kremlin has accepted our newly elected president before our currently sitting president. Okay, let me take this opportunity to warn any of you out there who are avid Trump supporters. I will henceforth refer to him as Resident Trump, not out of disrespect, but out of observance to his insolvent unwillingness to step up and be a president in the middle of the biggest pandemic in our lifetime, while well knowing that Americans are being evicted from their homes during the biggest holiday annual season, while unemployed Americans are queuing in food lines and losing jobs and businesses due to the lockdowns imposed on them by the government. Throughout all of this, Resident Trump is MIA. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the acronym MIA, it means missing in action. The guy is missing in action, proving that Donald J. Trump is absolutely and unequivocally solipsistic. Now that's a word I taught you guys back around, I think around in May or so. I taught you guys a new word, okay? Solipsistic. You see, solipsism is a philosophical ideal that only one's mind is sure to exist. Knowledge of anything outside of one's own mind is unsure. Resident Trump suffers an acute case of solipsism. If you guys aren't familiar with the word, look it up. Solipsism, S-O-L-I-P-S-I-S-M, solipsism. He is totally solipsistic. All right? All right, here we go. You know, I don't even own the rights. I also don't own the rights to intelligence and education. But if you learn something from me, you guys, hey, that's a good thing. All right. So until he physically moves out of the White House, he's been downgraded from President Trump to Resident Trump. What? No, stop it. I did not say Resident Evil. I don't say things like that, you guys. Come on, please. Okay. And no, I did not say biohazard. He's not a bio. Now, I'm not saying that, okay? All right. I just said Resident Trump. All right, there you go. So there's another word that sums up things, but unfortunately, Donald J. Trump was absent from class the day this word was inculcated into the minds of decent human beings. This word is decorum. It's the one thing he has never exhibited in all of his career days, especially with his days in the White House. Now, decorum means behavior in keeping with good taste and propriety. Do you know what propriety means? Propriety means conformity to conventionality, accepted standards of behavior or morals. Okay, let me say that again. Propriety means conformity to conventionality or conventionally. All right, I'm sorry. Let me start that again. Propriety means conformity to conventionally accepted standards of behavior or morals. Okay, I'm getting tongue-tied here, you guys, with all these words, solipsistic and I thought they thought, pussycat and all this. Okay, so forgive me, okay? It's a lot to take in, you guys, all right. So propriety means conformity to conventionally accepted standards of behavior or morals. Donald Trump does not conform to any conventionally accepted standards of behavior or morals. He does not have any iota of decorum in his DNA. It just doesn't exist. It didn't while he was his pre-presidential days, residential days, his pre-presidential day when he was running his casinos and all these different things, you know. And I don't want to just bash the guy. I'm not trying to say that Donald Trump is the devil and he's the demon from hell or something like that. But we just have to weigh in on the things that he has done to deserve the titles that he is now being honored with, donned with, you know. Okay. So during these extremely difficult times that the American citizens are expected to just endure great hardships, he is totally consumed by trying to overturn a free and legal election and the will of the American people. And that's the very people he was sworn in to serve. That's all that's on his mind. And the way that this guy is scattering and scrambling all over the place, trying to overturn the elections. He lost the election, fair and square, whatever the case may be, the elections are over. He lost it. He's trying to overturn the outcome of the elections. That's what he's trying to do, and it's not working. It's been thrown out of 50-something court cases. The state of Georgia alone had to recount the votes over 3 times and still came out with Biden on top. So why is this guy so adamant about overturning the outcome of the election? It's not just the election, you guys. He's running from something else. This guy is, I'm going to get to that later. He's running from something. All the court cases he has waiting for him once he comes out of the White House and he loses that diplomatic immunity. All the monies that he's raising telling his supporters that his goal fund is to help him win back the elections that were stolen from him when he knows there's no chance in hell of it being overturned. So where's all this money going to? Is it to help him with his court cases, his overwhelming amount of court cases that are waiting on him? All these things we have to take into consideration. I'm not trying to push a conspiracy or nothing like that, but you guys, if you connect the dots and the money trail, that's where you have the answer, okay? All right, so anyway, now, in more sane and civil times, no one would give a rat's ass about what an outgoing, sore-losing president thought about being defeated in an election. But these are not sane or civil time, my dear friends and family. Remember, I posted some videos back ago warning that there are forces in the American society that feel that they could catapult our country into a second civil war. You guys remember that? Remember that? I said the divided states of America and second civil war. Okay? So, if not, please look back and you can see on my videos. I predicted that there was possibly be a possibility of such an attempt being launched against the American government and people. What President Trump can't beat by the rifle due process of law and electoral process, he's resorting to inciting a civil rebellion, pitting American citizens against each other. Shouldn't that be a federal crime? And I wonder why. I see there are a lot of things that are going on, and I'm wondering why are they allowing these things to happen? How can elected government officials embolden their society to go to a governor's personal residence and surround it, and people are carrying their weapons there? And I'm like, wait a minute, shouldn't this be against the law? Shouldn't the law enforcement people be there to, and no one's doing nothing. They're allowing these people to go to a governor or some state official's personal home, residence, and surround it, and at the late night hours and out there shouting abuses. It's just this thin line before somebody is going to get killed. But why are they allowing this to happen? That's what baffles me. It should be a crime. President Trump and his cohorts imagine that they can break America up rather than lose their seat in power. No wonder he never condemned people waving the Confederate flags. Now it's starting to make sense. Now it's starting to make sense, okay? It seems somewhere in their demented minds, they fantasize creating an alternate parallel seat of power. Could it be true? Are they the demented ones? Are we the naive ones? I don't know. But the way things are now panning out, I don't know. Do they really think the Boogaloo movement, who they got, the QAnon, the Wolverine Watchmen, the Proud Boys, KKK, and other extremists and militia groups scattered across America can effectively break America into two or defeat the American military? Do these guys really think they can do this? I don't know. We don't know the thinking of the minds of these people because, well, I guess I'm not one of them, so I couldn't possibly know what they're thinking and why they're thinking. But at any rate, the main element they depend on in waging a war against the American government is your participation. And it doesn't matter which side you're on. A war just needs participants. It's very simple. An antagonist needs a protagonist. A defense needs an offense. Uncle Trump needs you. They need you to go out there and counter protest against their protests. They need this conflict going on. That's what they want, you guys. So don't, I told you some videos back, don't feed into it. Don't go out and die for these people. You see, the first battlefield is in the mind. And it's happening now on social media by brainwashing all of his supporters into believing that the election was stolen. That's what, that there was a massive fraudulent activities aimed against him and the Republican voters that stole their votes. And the sad thing about it is they are such fanatical supporters of his that they actually believe anything that spews out of his disingenuous mouth. These guys are following him like he's Christ. I don't understand this, you guys. I really don't. Another way he gets his supporters hooked is screaming that CNN is fake news or anyone that opposes his fallacies. Now, I'm not here to defend CNN, but if you bite his bait and refuse to watch CNN because you think its only objective is to slander your leader with fake news, then you're preventing yourself from obtaining a balanced and objective information news source. So if Fox News only praises Trump and that's the only station you're getting your news from, then your information is tunnel vision. You've got on blinders, you know? You should get news objectively from different various sources and then balance it out and weigh it out. Like I say, don't be extreme on either end. Don't be extremist for anything or anyone. Balance it out. If maybe you don't like CNN, maybe you don't like Fox, maybe you don't like, I don't know, whatever, but at least you should get a balanced, objective view of what's being reported. Then you can weigh it on, you know, on your own evaluation and come up with your own, you know, conclusions. So now, here's where things start to get very dangerous. Can one man's ego be that detrimental to the preservation of democracy and the sanctity of the constitutional electoral process that's been honored since the creation of the American Republic? And that's something we have to think about. And I'm asking the Republicans that. Like I say, I don't bash Republicans. I'm not here for that. But I implore you guys to even think as well. Excuse me. It's very hot in here in Abuja. Today was about 36 degrees Celsius. I forgot how to compare it to Fahrenheit, even though I'm from the country that uses Fahrenheit. You know, we use the, what is they call it, the empirical system or whatever they call it in America, but over here we use the metric system or whatever like that. So I'm using Celsius. So today was 36 degrees Celsius in Abuja, so it's kind of hot here. So that's why I'm getting tongue-tied and my throat's getting all dry and stuff, so please excuse me. And bear with me, you guys, okay? So, but it's just not one man. He's just a figurehead of such a ludicrous scheme. He represents a pocket of socially disgruntled individuals who refuse to see that what they perceive as their world around them evolve. They don't want to see what they perceive as their world around them evolve. They think it's their world. You see, when it all boils down, these people are not interested in one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. No, these people are suffering a superiority complex. They want to rule the nation like an oligarchy, keeping their one racial group on top by all means. That same breeze you feel blowing now, it's the same breeze blowing when Hitler was galvanizing his brown shirt paramilitary group. We've seen that before. It all boils down to racism. Now, before any of you even try to accuse me of playing the race card, please keep one thing in mind. I don't even play cards, okay? We only need to look back at the plethora of racial comments or attacks that came out of Trump's mouth, or the racially motivated policies he either tried to implement or did pass into laws. Then, his inability to denounce any white extremist hate groups in America. He never came out and denounced any of these people when they came out and even committed violence act or aggressive acts against other American citizens. He just said, well, there's good people on both sides. Or when he was specifically asked about a certain hate group or racial group, he said, well, I really don't know about them. Well, I don't know. Well, they support me, so, you know, if they support me, he went around everything except saying no or yes. So what does that say? You guys got to listen to what people say, because they're telling the truth. If you listen to what they're saying, you understand who they are and what they're really about, you know? So, as I've always stated in my previous posts, it's the system that's built with racism overtones. And that system has never been revised to meet today's multiracial society and global community. So me, myself, I tend to blame it on the system as a whole and not focus too much on the individual. However, some individuals are dead set on the continuum of such racial policies. So we have to examine, what is the impetus of racism? What is the impetus of American racism, or this racism? If we don't discuss the impetus of racism, then it's a redundant conversation. It's just like an illness. If we don't diagnose the cause of the illness, then we can never prescribe the appropriate cure. And that's what I'm trying to say. So maybe all of this is just America finally addressing its core problem. I don't know. Or maybe it's the last dying battle cry of a people who see the imminent end of their reign. Now, I'm going to give you guys a little rundown of how racism has pretty much permeated into a society and really caused such horrific results. Here's how it works, you guys. Now, not all Germans back in Nazi Germany subscribed to Nazi ideology, but nevertheless, the Holocaust still took place. Many people felt obligated to participate in abusing the Jews just because it was following in what was the new norm imposed on them. Many German citizens felt uncomfortable going along with the pact, but got swept up in the current of hate and abuse. Then, on the other hand, many German citizens had empathy for the Jews and even tried to shelter and hide them from the Nazis, such as the famous movie about Schindler and Schindler's List. The point is, it only took one very charismatic leader and a packet of followers to ignite their entire population into committing the Holocaust. Let me say that again so I make it clear. It only took one very charismatic leader and a pocket of followers to ignite their entire population into committing the Holocaust. Similarly, not all Southern whites in America during the Jim Crow era thought like the KKK, but nevertheless, Jim Crow laws, public hangings, random acts against black citizens, and the destruction of black-owned properties was the order of the day. Now, I was born in 1955, but it wasn't until 1954, a year before I was born, which I wouldn't have known, that the Desegregation Act was signed into law, allowing blacks to attend public schools. Now, and even though it was a law, remember, a law, hateful whites that subscribed to a racist governor's rhetoric still showed up at the schools to shout abuses and to throw things at young black students who were protected by a federal law. So just because a law is in place doesn't mean that people necessarily are going to abide by the law, and they'll take the law into their own hands. You see? Now, remember the people who stormed the Michigan State Building and later found out that they were planning on kidnapping the governor of the state of Michigan? Do you guys see a pattern? Are we connecting the dots here? Okay? In 1965, I was only 10 years old when the Voting Act was signed into law. Now, even though in 1870, the 15th Amendment prohibited states from denying any male citizen the right to vote based on race, color, or previous condition of servitude. Nevertheless, blacks were still denied, beaten, and killed for trying to exercise their legal rights to vote. Now, all the way back in 1870, the 15th Amendment allowed for us to vote. But people in the society took it in their own hands, regardless of what the law stated. So it wasn't until 1965 that the Voting Act was signed into law. So it was in the 15th Amendment, but in 1965, it actually became a law. 1870 to 1965. And before and in between that, blacks were fighting in every war for the American government, but couldn't vote, or were being lynched, burnt, beaten, just for and I'm not trying to focus on the negativity, you guys, because there's a point here. There's a means to the end. I'm getting to that. I remember watching the film of a very dignified black man wearing a suit, and he had on a hat. And he was walking to vote, and this video is on YouTube. You can see it online. And as he's walking, there's a crowd of Caucasian white men following him, and this is down south. They're literally punching him. His hat fell off. He bent down to pick off a hat, and somebody just weighed in and kicked him. He didn't say a word. He didn't say anything. He was just trying to go to vote, and the crowd was just following him. Now, here's what I'm getting at. Not everybody in that crowd was really a racist person, but they got swept up into what was happening. And then they just felt obligated to weigh in, even though they knew they were wrong. And I'm sure some of them went home after that and felt bad about it. And I'm sure some of those people living today who even felt justified about committing such cowardly excuse me, let me compose myself. I'm sorry, you guys. But just for trying to go to vote, that is what we had to endure. Even with the Constitution and the federal government giving us the right to do so. So now here we are voting in 2020. President Trump and a slew of Republican politicians got together and signed an order, and they tried to overturn millions of people's votes. Thank God that certain arms of the government are still functioning and still doing the right thing. And they threw all of their attempts out of the court. So, okay, let me pull myself together, you guys, because I want to talk about one more thing. Because I just found out about this the other day from General Saraswati Seti. I have to give him credit. If you guys know General Saraswati Seti, he's a conscious leader on social media. He brought it to my attention. It was called the Ocoee Massacre in Florida in 1920. Have any of you heard of this? Okay. It's the Ocoee, O-C-O-E-E, the Ocoee Massacre. Sounds like a native Indian word, Ocoee, I'm sure it is. In 1920, when black men were trying to vote, it resulted in their entire community being burnt to the ground by racist citizens who were just following the pack. So you guys understand why I'm talking about this. I'm not trying to dig up old things to bring back feelings of hatred and, revenge or anything like that. But if we don't learn from history, history does what? Repeats itself. So why do I revisit these atrocities against the German Jews and American blacks? Just to serve as a reminder of how badly things can get out of hand when a vociferous, egotistical, solipsistic, charismatic leader steers a pocket of citizens in the wrong direction. I got through that without a tongue twister, didn't I? Even leading some of them into seriously believing that they are doing a patriotic service to their country and their flag. And some of those people who are following Trump, who are donating to his GoFund to help him overturn the election, they really think in their mind that they're defending their country and their flag. And that's why they're out there doing that. They don't know that they're being hoodwinked. They don't know that they're just being taken advantage of by a very solipsistic, insecure person who doesn't give a damn about anybody else but himself. Republicans, one day you're going to look back on history and know that you were on the wrong side of history. And you're going to be ashamed of yourselves when you look. I'm not talking about all Republicans, because not, as I keep saying, not all Republicans are racist. I'm talking about those racist ones. And any of you racist Democrats as well, okay? So, Republicans and Democrats, President Trump needs your participation to validate him, not for your country, but for him to survive. Can't you see how desperately he is not to be defeated in a free and fair election, even after the election results have been certified by all the official institutions that the Constitution requires. So if you don't go out into the streets to protest or counter protest, he has no power. You don't even have to exhibit your support for Biden at this point. He's already won. He's certified. That's it. All the electoral results, the popular votes, everything is done. It's a done deal, okay? So all you have to do is stay home, enjoy your family, sit back, watch your favorite TV shows. Come January 20th, 2021, go ahead and tune into the inauguration. Whether Trump participates or not, the show will go on. The show will go on. So there you have it. If Trump supporters want to go out and rally, leave them to it, you guys. Let them go. Let them shadow box. As long as you're not being directly harassed by them, okay? And if so, let the law enforcement agencies settle it. Don't go out and die for a sore loser. That guy, he's not worth it, you guys. This guy is on his way out. Let him go, okay? Let him go. If those people who are supporting him tooth and nail finally wake up to reality one day, God bless them. We hope so. Because at the end of the day, everyone constitutes the American society. And we should be looking holistically as Americans. We shouldn't let the division of political parties divide the actual fabric of America. It's just supposed to be an option of choices, you know? Either you're a Democrat or Republican, or you could be in the middle, whatever they call it, independent. But this is not supposed to be like gang warfare. You know, you're not supposed to be hating each other because you're in the opposite party. It's not supposed to be like the red and blue of the Crips and Bloods, like the gangs. You're not supposed to be like, East Coast versus West Coast with Biggie versus Tupac. This is politics, you guys. Trying to find the best way to help run the country and handle the affairs of our states. That's what this is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a death match. So, Trump is playing a very, 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 very dangerous game by pitting the American citizens against each other. And he's going to get badly burnt for this in the end. Mark my word. Mark my word. Oh, 4 citizens were just badly stabbed at a pro-Trump rally in Washington, D.C. last weekend. You see what I'm saying? So is it really worth it? Is it really worth it? Hell no. So guys, please do not go out there and get involved in these pro-Trump or anti-Trump or steal the vote or bring the vote. The votes are done. That's done. Leave it. Leave it. Go on about your business now, you guys. We got bigger fish to fry. We're dealing with the rollout of these vaccines. And I'm going to talk about that another time. All I'm going to say right now, I'm not telling you to don't take the vaccines. I'm not telling you to take the vaccines. But I will tell you one thing. Google this yourselves, you guys. You know what I say. I'm trying to provoke your thought patterns. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to provoke your critical thinking. That's all I'm trying to do. Google it yourselves. Google, have you guys ever thought to Google what a vaccine is? Remember I told you guys some posts back. Where did vaccines come from? The word vaccine comes from vacca. Vacca means cow, okay, in Italy. And the first guy, there was the cowpox going around. And it's one doctor, I think it was Brenner, he took the pus from the cowpox and he injected into a boy and found out that his body built up an immunity to the actual virus. That was the first vaccine in modern history, okay? So that's why they call it vaccine. It's actually, the vaccine actually means cowpox. That's what it means. So when you take some DNA or sample from whatever host animal was carrying that virus, where the virus came from, and then you inject it as a counter measure, that's a vaccine. Just stuff that they're giving out now is not a vaccine, you guys. It doesn't even qualify as a vaccine. It's used as a vaccine, but it's not a vaccine because it's not coming from the DNA of whatever animal source that virus came from. It's coming out of a laboratory. This is a mRNA laboratory created substance that they're giving us that is going to our DNA. The DNA is what makes us who we are. That's what our biological code, our genetic code comes from, our DNA. And this is what these people are injecting this thing to infect our DNA into replicating more cells to battle against the coronavirus. So, being that they don't know enough about it, let's say that it does work to the effect that they want it to. But after that, will it stop? After it defeats the coronavirus cells, will it go after other cells, or will it stop? Right? See, I'm not saying it is or not, but these are things we need to question and look into because these trials have not gone long enough. It might take 2 years to see what the long-term effects are going to be. It might be another 5 years. We don't know. So, and I'm not trying to scare you guys. I'm not trying to be part of the whole, scare tactic thing or anything like that. I'm just saying let's use critical thinking. Let's watch and see what happens, okay? Because it's new. It's new to the scientists. It's new to the virologists. If it's new to them, what is it to us, okay? So there are brave people out there. As I said, my people in the UK, and now they started in America and other places. They're the frontline workers, the healthcare workers. They are taking the vaccine, the vaccination, I pray that it goes well for these people. And I don't think there's one blanketed thing that's going to work for everybody because different people have different conditions. Like in the UK, a couple of girls broke out with very heavy allergic reaction because they had pre-existing allergic, allergies or whatever. And so when they gave them the vaccination, it triggered something else. So you have to be careful, you guys. If you have other conditions, if you have this and that, if something even runs in your family that's hereditary, that you might have to look out before you take this vaccination, because talk to your doctors, talk to virologists. Look, a lot of this stuff you guys can look up for yourself. I've learned so much during this pandemic about virology, about vaccines. I know that that a virus is the very smallest of microbes. It's the smallest of microbes. They say that you could put 500 million viruses on the head of a needle. That's how small viruses are. In fact, let me put it like this. Someone said that if you take a teaspoon and if you take all the people in the world who are right now infected with coronavirus, it can fit inside of a teaspoon. That's how small viruses are. Do you guys know any of this? I didn't study it in school. So like I said, as we live, we continue to learn. We continue to grow. Once you stop learning, once you stop growing, that's the death of you. So continue to learn. Continue to, advance your own mind and education, okay? And continue to pay attention. Get multiple sources. Don't just take one thing and roll with it. Take that one thing and go, wow, okay, that makes sense. That sounds good. Now let me verify that from here. And let me verify that from there. And then you get a balanced, you get a more balanced outcome and conclusion about things, okay? That's all I'm saying. I'm not here to deny things. I'm not trying to start conspiracies. I'm not trying to scare people. We're scared enough. We're nervous enough. We've been through a lot this year. You guys were at that last stretch of the mile. Today is December 16th. This year is almost over. Remember last year, December, when we were all going, wow, 2020 is coming, man. 2020, wow, look at that, 2020 vision. I got 2020 vision. Wait till 2020 gets here. We were so, this same time last year, we were all anticipating 2020 coming. And look what it brought us. Didn't see it coming. Couldn't have anticipated it. If someone had told you probably would have told them, get out of here. No. But here we are. So we're hoping, we're praying, and we're doing everything in our power to make sure that 2021 can help turn all of this around. I have a lot of faith and hope in Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I think that they will allow a lot of things positive to happen because already he's assembling a multicultural administration. Look at what he's doing. And as I said in some posts before, any multicultural society's government should reflect their society. That is a multicultural society, because now you have different people from representing all the different sectors of that society working on behalf of everyone. Therefore, if you're working on behalf of everyone, everyone will get a fair chance, an equal, chance. And now from that point, it's up to you to do what you have to do. And Black America, I want to talk to my Black people. Black Americans, don't think because Kamala Harris is there, you can sit back and wait for things good to happen for you. Or because Joe Biden's there, you don't sit back and wait for nothing, you guys. Get together, pull together, and make sure that you go to your congressmen, you go to your whatever you have to sign to get legislation done. Lobby for that stuff. That's what the Jews do. That's what the Chinese do. That's what the Italians do. So let's get together, you guys, and let's go out and push until the things that we want to have done get done. Don't just sit back and wait for a president to do it for you, or because somebody of your color has been elected to be your governor or your mayor or something like that. It's up to us collectively to get out there and make these things happen. I don't mean like, angrily, aggressively like a mob. I mean, just let's sign petitions. You get all these names on petitions. You guys submit these things. It goes to their desk. It goes through the process and everything. It goes into laws. The laws get approved and they become legislation. And that's how things work. Okay? So, you guys, it's going to be up to us. It's going to be up to all of us. All right? Let's see how President Trump bows out of this. Right now, he's missing in action. He doesn't care about what's going on. He's still got one more. He still thinks he has one more card up his sleeve to overturn the outcome. He's still after it, you guys. Solipsistic. Look up the word, you guys. It fits him perfectly. Until he came about, I've never had a need to use that word. I didn't even know the word. President Trump is absolutely and unequivocally solipsistic. But let's see how he bows out of this. Let's see if he even attends the inauguration. Look how much integrity and empathy Joe Biden has. He says, people, don't even come to the inauguration. Just watch it at home on TV. Wow. I'm not here to praise him. I'm not here to try to, but you guys, praise is given where it's due. What did President Trump say? I had the biggest numbers in history ever. No other president. He's solipsistic. I'm going to keep repeating that word until you guys put it in your vocabulary. And I hope you never have to use it again. I hope you never find anyone that possesses those characters again. But until then, we have until January 20th to utilize the word solipsistic and solipsism. It almost sounds like Sylvester the cat. I thought I saw a pretty cat. And what's a second? Solipsism. I like to make you guys laugh, if I can. That's my thing, you guys. We got so much dismal news, you guys. It's now with the vaccines online, and I hope they're safe, with the new president-elect, we can start breathing again. I'm so sorry for people who have lost loved ones. I'm so sorry for people who have succumbed to this virus and any other form of sickness or whatever causes of death that you may have had to endure and experience. My heart is out with all of you, okay? All right. I didn't even plan on coming back this soon, you guys, but the way things are going on and the way things are behaving, and I wanted to make sure that you guys didn't get caught up in these protests and anti-protests. You don't have to do it no more. Stay at home and relax, you guys. Enjoy yourselves. Kick back. Enjoy yourselves, okay? People are getting evicted. Enjoy yourself. People are standing in line for food. It's the holiday season. If you guys don't concentrate too much on Christmas being Christmas as you know it is, I think you'll feel better. Just say it's the holiday season, but we have bigger things to get through, and with the love we have for each other, the love in our heart, let's share that more than sharing presents, more than doing the traditional way of celebrating Christmas. You don't have to go and have big Christmas dinners and that. Be thankful for what you have. Be thankful that we made it through this year, you guys. Just be thankful that we made it through this year. That's enough. That's the biggest Christmas present you can have, you know. I have a lot to be thankful for. I made it through this year. My family made it through this year. I brought a new daughter into this year, and I was very nervous. I was very nervous for her and her mother because coronavirus was attacking pregnant women. You know, it could have been another outcome, and it was that for other people. So we have a lot to be thankful for, you guys, just that we made it. Once we get to next year, then let's fight for these things, okay, you guys? All right, stay safe. Let's see how President Trump bows out of this. Let's see if he even shows up to the inauguration, or if he pouts on the other side of the state building, or if he grabs his bag and runs down to Key Largo or back up to New York. We don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be interesting to see how his final exit. That's going to be very, very interesting. You know who I really feel sorry for in all this? I feel sorry for Barron Trump. He's innocent, you guys, and he's outgrown Donald. The last time I saw him, he's taller than Donald now. And he grew up his last 4 years in the White House, and now he's going to be out of it, and he's got to deal with the reputation that his father forged out. So, you know, my heart goes out to Barron Trump, you guys. Come on, you guys. You know, we can't be like that against innocent people in the family. The guy is innocent. He didn't choose his parents, okay? So anyway, take care, you guys. As I always say, spread the love, make love great again, because we can all be great. And let's all take it back to the world. We got to get our planet back in our hands, okay? Until then, you guys, be safe, be blessed. I love you. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.